Okay, it's time for Benji and The Pickle, the region's #1 morning show on what's left of terrestrial radio. Coming to you live from Mullins Brothers Slaughterhouse in beautiful Hudson Valley. Going to be broadcasting live here all day in a show of support to our meat processing brothers and sisters who have been ordered back to work. Stop by with the kids between 12 and 2 for free ice cream and all-you-can-eat hot dogs. Just please remember to practice social distancing or your kids could wind up in a hot dog. Just kidding. That's the kind of comedy you can expect on Benji and The Pickle. Ain't that right, Pickle? Pickle's going to be back at the top of the hour with the latest death tolls. But first, questionable material with Jack and Brian. You are listening to Questionable Material with Jack Helmuth and Brian Sack. This episode, mean-spirited pranks, answers for kids, pants for women. I'm actually not on Skype. I'm inside your laptop. I need you to do me a favor. And I need you to get me out of your laptop. I'm stuck in here. I need to get out. Will you do me a favor and just pry open the screen so I can escape?
Yeah, of course. Whatever I can do to help you. What do I do? I've got a screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver here.
That's fine. Just pry it under the screen and pop open the screen.
Okay. Where are you?
Oh, Jack, you've been pranked.
What?
Yeah, Jack, it's a new prank show I'm starting. It's a show where I do pranks and make people do things. It's called Mood Switch.
It's called Mood Switch.
Yeah.
So, okay.
And the premise is like I come in with one joke that kind of makes you feel good, and then I pull another joke that breaks your heart and destroys your faith in humanity. Some we spend a lot of time on, like this woman, Wanda, she's an old lonely widow. And I mean, I built up a relationship with her over the course of 8 months.
Okay.
And then she was very excited. I was just about to move into her apartment. She told me that night, she's like, "You make me so happy, Brian." And I had this big smile on my face because I knew what was coming the next day.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we captured all that in different angles and everything. And then the next day, she's standing there waiting for me to move in, and I pull up the moving truck and I open up the back and it's empty. And then she looks at me with this quizzical look, and I just go, "Psych!" And then I just hop back in the truck and I drive off. And she's been texting me like crazy, and I've just been broadcasting the texts. Like, what happened? Where'd you go? Why did you do this to me? Very funny.
God, sounds really funny. How do you record these hilarious moments?
Oh, I have a camera crew. They're very small. I hire from islands that produce small people so that they can kind of hide behind things like fire hydrants and street signs and things.
Those are small folks.
Yeah. Well, the trick is you get them from an island that produces small people, and then you don't feed them a lot.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. That's good business.
You got a telephone pole and there's a guy hiding behind it. Last thing you want to see is his tiny little belly sticking out from the side.
That's a good point.
With his little camcorder.
You only give him a camcorder?
Yeah.
You should trust him with at least like an iPhone 6.
I went to the Salvation Army. They had all these old camcorders. And so I just bought a whole bunch of those.
Is that where you found your first crew member too?
Yep. And it's funny because his name is Sal. And he's from the Salvation Army. I was like, what is going on? That's crazy.
Oh that's amazing. Yeah. So when you go to these countries, how do you procure these your workers?
I take out an ad in the local paper.
Okay.
Looking for tinies. And then, they just come. It's like if I place an ad in the Craigslist, like Hot Girls Wanted, I'd get tons of solicitation. Same thing, except it's just all tiny people.
Wait a minute. I want hot girls.
Yeah. Well, you can do it. Just run an ad in Craigslist. Just Hot Girls Wanted, and then they'll send you all sorts of pictures.
All right. Fair enough. That sounds like a great method to do business. So you would run this ad in their newspapers seeking tinies, but to those people on this island, wouldn't they be like regularlies?
Good point. Seeking regularlies. You got me.
Aha! Finally, after 31 episodes, I found a hole in one of your stories.
Damn.
Woo! It's helmet time, people. I've got my daughter here, my 7-year-old daughter, Eden.
Mm-hmm.
And you've given her some, I'll say good advice just because I'm polite. In the past, well, bad advice. That's another word for it, honey. It's good. Some advice before in the past, and she's asked for a chance to get some more advice from what she calls her Uncle Brian, which makes me very uncomfortable. So would you mind answering a few questions for Eden?
Yes, I would mind.
When can we go back to school?
When can you go back to school? Well, I like to think of it as every day is school, because every day you're learning new things. Like when you touch a stove, you learn that you shouldn't touch a stove. Lesson learned. And the next day, if you're digging in the garden and you cut a worm in half, you learn that kills them. Worm dead. You okay with the headphones?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say you'll be going back. You're already in school because you're learning on a daily basis, you know? So
yeah.
You're already in school and you'll be in school forever.
How does that make you feel, Eden?
That's okay.
Okay.
When can I go back actually into my school building?
Well, you'd have to talk to your mayor. Like my mayor is Bill de Blasio. And so what you need to do is you go to the mayor and say, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, when can I go back to school? And then the mayor goes, I'm Bill de Blasio. I'm a big dumb dummy. Oh, the hey, dude. And then he throws a random date at you. And then Governor Cuomo says, no, you're wrong. And then they get into a fight back and forth. And then at some point you'll be back in school in September.
What do you think about that?
We'll see.
Yes.
We'll see if that's true.
We will see if that's true.
How do I get in touch with the mayor?
Well, to summon the mayor, you can find a big spotlight and you put a cover on that it's in the shape of a dummy. And then you shoot that up into the sky and you'll see in the clouds the shape of a dummy. And the mayor will see that and be like, oh, I'm wanted.
It's like the bat signal, but for dumb mayors.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Sort of.
So I think maybe for technology class this afternoon, you can build one of those.
During the pandemic, what can I do to help my mom and dad?
Well, they've got a lot of stuff going on because mommy and daddy are busy and then they've got to be school teachers on top of that. So the thing for you to do, what they like is surprises. So you go into the basement, you find a can of paint or wood stain, you get a brush, and then you start painting a room that they're not in. And then when you're done painting it, you come in, you go, Mommy, Daddy, I've got a surprise for you. And then they walk into the room and you go, surprise, I painted.
That's horrible.
Have you ever done laundry and dishes at the same time? So you take all the cutlery and the dishes and you put them in the laundry machine with Mommy and Daddy's favorite clothes. And then you add a ton of soap, like so much soap, like you think like you're adding too much soap, but you're not. And then you start it on extra hot cycle. And you just watch as all the fun happens.
Won't the plates just break?
You'll never know until you try.
Okay, I don't think that's very good advice, but
Aw.
okay. Can I get a job to help my family make money?
Yes. What you do is you need to become an Instagram influencer. Oh. So you need to take 500 selfies a day. Just you standing there, doing whatever, walking around, making lunch. So you take a picture of your lunch from 12 different angles. You take a picture of mommy and daddy around the house or when they're coming out of the shower. You do anything you can to get people to like your photos. If you have a friend named Elway and he's a troubled kid, then you just take pictures of him. You tell him you're going to make him famous because you're a social media influencer. And then you'll be selling advertising and you'll make some money and then you give it to mom and dad so that they can buy whiskey or whatever parents like.
But I want to keep the money.
Well, you could do that. So what you do is you put some of the money under the bed and you hand them the rest. And then you tell your parents that's all the money you made. But secretly, you've got most of it under your bed in a bag that's marked for Brian.
Why would it be marked for Brian?
Because if your parents look under the bed and find a bag of money, you don't want them to think it's theirs. You want them to think it's Brian's. And then you call Brian and I'll come pick it up.
Well, I want to keep the money.
Sure you can.
But then you're going to take it to your house.
I'm just going to grow it. I'm going to plant it in the backyard and grow a money tree. And then from that money tree, whenever you need money, you just come over and pick off the dollar bills from the tree.
There's no such thing as a money tree.
One way to find out.
How much money do I need to buy to get my independence?
From your parents?
Yeah.
You probably just need $79 for a bus ticket to Miami. And then you spend $79. You get on a bus, you get out in Miami, and then you go, I'm here, Miami.
Would my brother and I get all my parents' money if they were both accidentally pushed down the stairs and died?
Yes. Yes. You and your brother would split all your parents' money by 50-50, meaning half and half. So you'd get half and your brother would get half. But if your brother also happened to be falling down the stairs with mommy and daddy, you'd get 100%, which is all of it. So that's something to think about when you're pushing your parents down the stairs.
Now, remember, we've been talking about percentages and fractions, honey. Isn't it better to have 100%? 100% versus 50%. Remember, that's 2 times more.
I know, but what would you want more? A brother and no parents, or just yourself?
That's precisely. That's the question you have to ask yourself. Brian, how do you make a decision like that? This is
I made it.
A question as old as time.
I made it. I already answered it. I want 100%. I want to live in a really nice tree house.
I would say my brother.
Aww. Well, then you'd save your brother. So you and your brother would get 50% each. So half each.
But I also want to keep my dad and mommy.
But then you could come live with Uncle Brian, just you and your brother, and bring all that money. And then
no, thanks. I think I'm going to stay with my regular parents. Thank you.
Okay, but what if they fell down the stairs and you had to come live with me? No?
That would be humiliating.
It would be humiliating for your dad to die falling down a flight of stairs.
I would go live with Mina instead, actually.
You know, Mina, I don't know about Mina. She bothers me. I think she's a crime lord.
How dare you?
All right.
Mina's like a sister to me.
But doesn't she run a crime family? Isn't she smuggling exotic animals into your town to sell?
No, she's not.
Doesn't she steal zoo animals?
She's my favorite friend.
But has she looped you into her organization that steals animals from the zoo and sells them to exotic? No?
No, she was my best friend. She's my first best friend, and she would not do that. And I don't think she even knows how to do that, but she's really good at soccer.
Wow. How much do you pay her to be your best friend?
No money.
What? I have to pay my best friend every month or he stops being my friend.
Well, good friends wouldn't ask money just to be the friend.
Oh. Are you serious?
So that guy's not a good friend.
But I give him money and he's my friend.
Well, then if you just give him money, then that's not how a true friend acts.
Eden, this is the only way Daddy's making any money right now. Okay, I'm what's called furloughed, and ow.
Wow, I always thought Billy Jenkins was a really good friend because I give him $250, and then he says I can come over his house and we can have 4 beers, and then I have to go home.
Sounds like a normal friendship to me, Eden. Right?
No.
$50 for a play date?
Well, I don't have to pay my friend Mina, and we always ask for a play date. Once we even begged for a sleepover, and we got 2 nights in a row sleepover.
I've never had that.
I had.
Well, at least I have my wife.
And at least I have Mina.
Mm-hmm.
And if I married Mina, she'd be my wife. And then my wife would be your best friend.
Yeah, and then I'll go over to your house so many times.
That's right.
Because me and her are like best buddies.
And then if your parents fell down the stairs, you'd be living with your best friend.
Yeah, and mostly playing with her.
Yeah, and you just bury all that money in the backyard and it'll be safe.
Well, then we could buy ourselves a house, me and Mina, and she would divorce from you, and me and Mina would live alone with my annoying brother, and we would play pranks on him, and we had like the best time ever, and me and Mina would live a really happy life.
Wow. And he's an annoying brother?
Yeah.
Huh.
Mostly mean to me.
Oh,
Well, then Brian was talking earlier today about some pranks that he likes to pull. He's a kind of expert at pranks. Brian, what are some pranks you can tell a young girl to play on her brother?
I have an idea. You go to his room, right? And you get some of your daddy's tools and you remove his door from his bedroom. And then you remove your door from your bedroom and you switch the doors. So his door is on your room and your door is on his room. So when he goes into his door, he's in your room.
Ingenious.
Well, I don't even know how to do that. Neither does my dad.
Wait, what?
Mostly Francisco would know how to do that.
Why, your dad doesn't know how to remove 3 hinges?
Go ahead, tell everyone who Francisco is, honey.
Francisco is the person that can fix things.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So Francisco
and take things apart and switch it.
He's
so
our
Daddy
handyman.
wouldn't really know how to do that.
Well,
and neither would the cleaning ladies, neither would I, neither would everyone in the
slow
family.
down on that.
So Francisco is the man of the house, is what you're saying. He does all the man things.
No.
Because Daddy doesn't know. Daddy doesn't know how to remove 3 hinges from a door?
He's not even my aunt. He's not even my uncle. And he's definitely not my cousin because I don't have any cousins.
So he's a friend?
Yeah.
He's a friend. Do you pay money to come visit?
Well, he's not actually a friend.
Oh, you're changing your story now.
You are humiliating.
What? So you pay this man to come over your house and remove your brother's door? Is that what you're going to do? Because your dad can't do it? Because he doesn't know how to remove 3 hinges?
Yeah.
So when something breaks in the house, Daddy goes and gets his toolbox or he gets his telephone?
Gets his telephone.
Huh.
And probably calls Francisco.
Look, I'm the man of the house, Eden.
No, you're not.
Okay.
Jack is.
The little brother. How much is Francisco getting paid?
Probably more than $100.
Wow. And Francisco, that name sounds interesting. Where's Francisco from?
I have no idea.
When Daddy pays him, does Daddy pay him in cash or does he write him a check?
Well, that's all the time we have for Eden today. I'd like to thank my daughter for being on the show. Great job, honey. Bye. So, Brian.
Adam?
No, Brian.
I identify as Adam, Jack.
Oh, my gosh. When did that change?
2 seconds ago.
Oh, Adam, I'm so happy for you. Is it okay if I call you Adam?
I'm Brian now.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about the whole Adam thing. I didn't mean to
That's fine.
shame you for what you used to be. I see you as Brian or Adam.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Brian.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, cool. I saw this Ask Reddit chain where basically you can log onto the website Reddit, which is a great place to procure knowledge, I find. And in the Ask Reddit question, they just sort of ask questions, create sort of threads of conversation. And it seems like a good thing to do in quarantine times when you can't maybe have as many face-to-face conversations as possible. So I thought maybe we could ask each other some questions on Reddit.
Yes. Let's do this.
Okay, cool. So I'm scrolling. I'm just truly going down the list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's one. What's the best meal you've ever had that you will probably never get to have again?
My mother's pork chops.
Because of the pork shortage?
Nope.
Because you went vegan?
Nope.
Gosh, I'm running out of your stove broke.
No.
Your mother's stove broke?
My mother broke.
Your mommy broke?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. What happened?
She died.
I love it when you do these bits.
What's the worst thing to say to a person next to you at a urinal?
Well, for me, it's usually honey who's watching the kids.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so that would be the worst. What is something that you would never confess to your family?
The truth about the JFK assassination.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't say it to your families, but you'd tell your podcast listeners, wouldn't you?
No, because my family listens to the podcast.
Oh, they shouldn't.
Yeah, I know. I told them.
Talk about them all the time.
I know.
I mean, we need the listeners, but still. Okay. Can you give us a hint?
Yes.
As to what happened? Yes. Great.
My uncle, great uncle, Lee Harvey, was responsible.
Oh, gosh, it's really fits with what you find in a history book.
Yeah. I mean, not on Infowars.com, but definitely in a history book.
If I looked that question up on Infowars, what answer would I find?
Well, the chemtrails created zombies who then followed a 5G impulse that made them assassinate the president.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I found a good one. What is the weirdest quirk that your pet has? Okay.
Well, Mochi, oddly enough, is an anti-vaxxer.
That's a weird quirk.
Yeah, it's strange. Just quirky.
How does she push her sort of politics on you guys?
Whenever there's like any kind of reference to vaccinations or anything, she'll walk over and just sit right on whatever I'm reading. And then she just kind of looks at you with this tut kind of look.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if I could hear her kitty brain, it's probably going like, really? And she won't budge until I finally give up and decide I'm not going to read, that particular article.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You said Mochi. It makes sense now. You said Mochi once started a fanzine for Jenny McCarthy. Is that right?
Yeah, Mochi was publishing it. I discovered all this stuff behind the downstairs freezer.
Oh, gosh.
There's a whole little cat printing press and just all sorts of going off. And it's like this little fanzine, cat mailing list. And it was really strange. I mean, I was proud of her in some ways.
Yeah, I would be.
I thought all she did was sleep all day, but she apparently has this little printing press. But it makes sense, too, because at night I kept hearing this. And it was her just publishing.
Well, you told me you thought there was a jazz scat man in your house, right?
Yeah, I did.
And you called the cops on that a number of times.
Yep. I'd call the police and they'd be like, what's your problem? I'm like, I think somebody named Bleeding Gums or something like that is here and scatting in my house. I can hear scatting.
Uh-huh.
And they came a couple of times and said, dude, you need to stop calling us.
Yeah.
There's no scatting going on.
Wow.
Yeah.
I may not agree with her politics. I may not agree with her positions, but sometimes you just have to tip your cap.
She's motivated, which I like.
Yeah, I like that too. Let's see. Just scrolling through Reddit here.
Let's see. I'll find something.
Oh, I've got another one for you. You're too slow. What subjects should be taught in school but aren't?
They should teach confidence.
They should teach confidence. They should teach confidence. That's actually a fantastic idea.
You just like everybody comes in like, okay, sit down, everybody. And then they all sit down. It's like, okay, Jack, and you say here, and you're like, Jack, that was very masculine the way you said that.
No one's ever said that to me before.
Yeah, exactly. The class like this would build it up, and you'd be like, yeah, and can you do a little more masculine? Yeah, okay. And then, and you just kind of build you up, even if it's all false. And then they have like arm wrestling, except the teacher always like loses to you.
But isn't this what schools do nowadays anyway?
Yeah, good point.
What are some things society needs to normalize?
Jack punching.
Oh, jack punching. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Why? What
I would like
do?
I want to live in a world where people feel it's totally acceptable to punch jacks. Just like start punching on, wailing on them for no reason. Just out of the blue.
I've lived in conditions like this. It was called middle school.
Yeah.
And it's not a good life for some people.
I want every day to be middle school for you. Every day.
Okay. In middle school, I was overweight and I wasn't having any sex. So I guess it's already working.
Oh, it doesn't count when your teacher has sex with you?
No, I mean, I guess I meant consensual sex.
Uh-huh.
Shop class doesn't really count to me as a class. So, I never really considered him a teacher. So that was just its own thing.
If you were randomly arrested, what would your family and friends assume that you did?
That's a really good question. Off the top of my head?
Yeah.
Manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, endangerment of a child, possession of inappropriate materials regarding children, possession of drugs, misdemeanor possession of drugs, grand theft auto, grand larceny, tax evasion, exposure, public urination, public defecation, public fornication, public Californication, and jaywalking. That's what probably they would assume it's like in that, like, well.
Wow. You really...
Did I not answer the question right?
No, you did. No, it's very, very informative.
Thanks.
No,
I try to include jokes in these, but I just figured I'd answer that one real.
Yeah, no, you did a good solid. You did
Thank
a
you.
solid.
Oh gosh, what is something you hate but still consistently do it?
I don't like luring hobos to their death.
No, you don't like it, you say.
I hate it.
I'm going to give you some pushback on this.
I hate it. I feel
Okay.
bad about it. And I can't stop doing it.
What do you think that is? That a compulsion? What do you think that is?
You know, I see a train and I see a hobo. And I'm like, okay, this is a great fun way to kill a couple hours on a Sunday. And so I'll see the hobo and I'll hop on the train and I'll be like, kind of wave him over. Like, hey, buddy, this train's headed for Texas. You coming? You might say, I don't know about Texas. Oh, you're going to love Texas, man. The women down there, second to none. Really? Yeah. And they love hobos. Seriously?
Oh.
Yeah, they love hobos. And hop on in. I'm in the car I'm in is filled with a lot of food. And it's really nice. And they're like, oh, okay. And so I help him climb in as the train starts moving. And then he starts to look around. He's like, where's all the food at? And I'm like, oh, you'll see. So you just wait here. And so I walk to the dark end of the boxcar. And that's when I put on my gorilla suit. And then, he's just standing there waiting for food. And then I come out of the darkness in my gorilla suit and I'm just screaming like, it's the end. And of course they freak out and sometimes they'll dive out of the side of the car. Sometimes they will try to climb up to the top of the boxcar because we're moving at a pretty decent speed by now. But inevitably they wind up dead on the tracks.
But now let's get to the you part. I'm not concerned about them. They won't be missed. I'm concerned about you here. It seems like that's something you do, like you say, with a couple hours on a Sunday. It seems like you do enjoy it. That this is not something you in fact hate. I
hate that I enjoy it. I guess that's what it is. I hate it, but I hate that I enjoy it. But I also, I do it because it's a tribute to my grandmother.
Oh, that's so sweet. What we talk so much about your dead mommy. What about your grandma?
When I was a child and I spent time with her, there were two things she loved to do. One is she had a little jar filled with peanut M&Ms.
Oh, I love that.
This was back before peanuts were deadly. And I'd come over her house and she'd give me a handful of peanut M&Ms and we'd talk. And the other thing is she'd always say, I need you to kill hobos when you get older. And she'd say, not now because you're too young and you're too delicate. But when you get older, when you hit 18, I need you to kill hobos. So I feel obligated in a way.
Yeah.
Because my grandmother wanted this.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it for her. But I do hate it. I don't like the screams. I don't like the shocked look on their faces when I come out of the dark in my gorilla suit. I don't like these things as much as I should.
Well, it seems like you've really put on quite a show regarding this, where maybe you don't necessarily you could just kill the hobo. You don't have to make it such a theatrical event.
I know, but then I think, from his perspective, how would he want to be murdered? Would he want it to be a boring old murder where somebody just comes up and whacks him on the back of the head with a lead pipe? Or does he want a man in a gorilla suit bursting out of the darkness, screaming and terrifying?
That's a better story.
It makes it memorable for him.
Yeah.
For the brief time he's going to be able to remember it.
That's right.
Before he hits the ground at 50 miles an hour or gets caught under the wheels.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Brian.
I'm glad to talk about it, actually. It's nice to get it off my chest.
Well, I think it's nice sometimes to share with the audience a little bit about ourselves, about our family. So I think it's like that was a nice touch for future episodes to talk about grandma like that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. What is something school taught you that was ultimately pointless?
Science.
Why? Gosh, it seems like such an important thing that wouldn't be pointless. Why science being pointless to you?
Because when science comes up against your beliefs, especially your political beliefs,
right,
then science is in the way. And I don't need you putting stupid ideas in my head. Like, oh, there are two biological sexes. I don't need dumb ideas put in my head in the name of science when there are other things I just want to feel or believe in or know that are true based on the way I'm feeling politically.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So I curse my science teachers every day.
Right.
I get up. First thing I do is I read my horoscope because obviously that makes a ton of sense. Where Mercury was 80 million miles away and over there, and definitely
in the 1960s
influences my personality in so many ways. It's obvious.
Absolutely. Right.
And so I do that. And then I start cursing my science teachers.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me crystals don't have healing powers?
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't take science.
Good for you. Were you homeschooled?
No, my shop teacher wrote me notes to get me out of things.
Oh,
he was like a real ally for me at school. As long as I sort of he just had one or two rules for me, but then I could just get away with murder in that school.
Good for him.
Yeah, it was great. He was a great ally. I really, I have dreams about him a lot, actually. But so I want to say I miss him, but I see him sort of in my sleep a lot. I have trouble sleeping a lot in my 30s and 40s.
Mm-hmm. We can talk about that later.
Yeah, I don't need to.
Okay.
Can you just ask me just anything else?
Sure.
Just anything.
Yeah. What's the dumbest line ever said by a fictional character?
Don't tell your parents.
Okay, let's get off that theme.
Just ask something else.
What's the meaning behind your username?
I'll give you a drill.
Okay, let me see. I got to find you a different question.
Brian, just find a question. Ask me something fucking else.
Oh, geez, Jack, it looks so sad. Hold on.
It's Reddit. Find a question.
I'm looking. What's a random act of kindness a stranger has done for you that you've never forgotten about?
Putting his. It wasn't that kind. He wasn't a stranger. I wish he was a stranger. He was so kind to me.
What's your least favorite food?
Tomatoes. There's just something about the texture. You know what I mean? I'm not a fan of tomatoes.
Huh. Good.
Let's see. I got one for you right here. What hobby are you continuing from your childhood?
Making stupid videos and making stupid recordings.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you could ban anything, what would it be and why?
I don't like homicide investigations. They're intrusive. They feel judgy, like they feel like they know something.
Yeah.
They play these tricks on me.
Right.
The good cop, bad cop thing. I just wish it would all go away.
Right.
I don't know.
We have video of you entering the train, that whole thing.
Exactly. Oh, what were you doing around the train yard? I find it incredibly intrusive and I don't like it. I'd ban it in a heartbeat.
Right.
Okay, take that, Detective Morgan.
Well, Brian, I think we learned a lot and about each other, and we asked a lot of good questions on Ask Reddit.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, good job.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Jack.
What's funny is that with everyone wearing whatever masks they have flying around, about 20% of the population now looks like my shop teacher walking towards me. So I can tell you've been busy during quarantine.
Yes.
As you know, I'm a pretty accomplished computer hacker, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm no bird, but I get by. So I broke into the patent office, the Department of Patents. I broke into them all and noticed that you have been registering inventions like crazy these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
I love inventing.
I know you do. And I love that you try to sort of make a profit with your inventions, that it's not just to tinker around the house, that you really think that you can go to market with some of your, higher end inventions. So I broke into the patent office and I wrote down a bunch of the names of products that you patented. I was wondering if you could sort of tell us about some of your new inventions.
I would love to tell you about my new inventions. I can't begin to tell you how excited I am.
Oh, good. I'm so happy you're so excited. I was wondering if you could tell us about your new invention called Pandemic Preparedness Pack.
Yes.
The PPP. Great. Taking advantage of what's in the news. What's your Pandemic Preparedness Pack, and how is that patentable?
Well, you patented based on the ingredients of the pack. It has everything you need to escape a pandemic.
Like what?
Well, there's a cup of gasoline in a Nutella jar. And so that you just, let's say the last thing you want to do is have to stop at the gas station and fill up your tank. You want to get out of town.
Right.
So that gasoline, depending on the mileage of your car, should give you enough to get just outside of New York City.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you're on your own.
Sure. There are so many containers nowadays in 2020. Why the Nutella container? I'm confused.
I have a lot of Nutella containers. I don't know. You've seen my kids. They're both enormous. They eat Nutella for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
Both of them have type 2 diabetes as a result.
I know. And that's just over the last 6 weeks, right?
Yeah. But we have these Nutella containers, so they're just piling up. And I thought, why not fill those with gasoline as part of my PPP?
Now, you would also call your sons Nutella containers at this point, wouldn't you not?
Yeah. They have, and those shirts that say thing 1, thing 2?
Yes.
I had shirts made that say Nutella container 1, Nutella container 2.
Wow. You pounced on that right away for a good gag t-shirt.
Yeah. I saw an opportunity there and I struck.
That's smart dadding and entrepreneuring.
Thank you, Jack.
That's great. So, okay. So, all right. So you've got the Nutella container full of gasoline.
Yes.
Smart.
Yeah.
What else is in the PPP? And by the way, I just Googled PPP.
Yeah.
Some incredibly disturbing images came up. You might want to just think about branding.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. I could always go back to my original company name.
What was that?
BBC.
What does BBC stand for?
Brian's Business Kit.
Uh-huh. Cool, man.
But then I realized that C is not how you spell kit.
Mm-hmm.
Because people were calling it sit. And that's why I went to PPP.
Well, I just Googled BBC and I see no problems.
Great. So in my kit, in addition to the Nutella jar filled with gasoline, of course, one of the first things we all learned is that toilet paper was in short supply.
Yep.
So in all my kits, you have a cloth napkin.
Oh, okay.
Which is technically recyclable toilet paper.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
So you have an endless supply. And that's how I'm labeling it on the outside. Endless supply of toilet paper.
Oh, gosh. People are going to think they're going to be getting regular deliveries.
Yeah. Well, no, they're just going to get what is essentially a cloth napkin taken from Five Guys Burgers and Fries. They have a elite dining section. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I'm not at all. That's a whole other discussion.
Yeah, they have a VIP dining section in the back. And
elite dining.
Yeah. Cloth napkins, maitre d'. There's even a captain, a waiter captain.
Oh, yeah.
So you tip twice. It's crazy, but it's very high end.
Where else?
Then there's a medicine, the pharmacy, the medicine container.
Yeah,
that you get from the pharmacy, the orange ones.
Yep.
So there's an assortment of drugs in there.
Oh. Like a Tylenol, Benadryl, stuff like that?
I don't know. Because
it's like a Long Island iced tea of just drugs.
No, well, what I did, I went to my great uncle's nursing home, and I just kind of went through his cabinets and took out whatever was in there and just dumped them into a bag, and then I just scoop handfuls and fill each jar with the medicine.
That makes a lot of sense. There are a lot of unwatched medicine cabinets in nursing homes these days.
Yeah, exactly. It's been kind of lucrative. So, you get an assortment of medicine that you never know might come in handy.
What if I, need to take a pill for my high cholesterol and I end up with an erection lasting more than 4 hours? Like, I don't know what I'm taking.
Well, you find out, don't you? Because when you feel like your cholesterol level is the same and yet your penis is engorged with blood for 4 hours, then you know what you took.
Yeah.
And also, if you're hoping to have an intimate night with your significant other, and then, but your headache goes away, then you know what you took.
But it's my wife who always has the headache. Like that wouldn't help me.
Right. Well, then you give her one of the pills and hopefully maybe there's like a female thing.
But what if it gives her a boner lasting 4 hours?
Then you're in for a wild night, unless it's rendered her incontinent.
Okay. So it's sort of like a Jelly Belly bag where you just like you scoop it up and you just don't know what flavors you're going to get.
Yeah. And that, but it's also kind of gives you something to do during a quarantine or something. Because you're looking at these pills, you're like, well, this kind of looks like it might, cure indigestion or lower my blood pressure.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun. Okay. Well, do you worry about the pills expiring?
Based on my understanding of medicine, pills don't really expire. The big pharmaceutical companies just tell you that so that you go out and you get more pills.
Okay.
That's what I heard on InfoWars.
And that's also where you get your medical degree, is it not?
It is. They have an online university.
Okay. And you graduated with honors, or how did you do?
I have a doctorate in medicine based on life experience. And I did graduate magna cum laude, which I've been pronouncing it wrong my whole life.
Anything else in your PPP?
Yeah. There's a softball bat. And I just, I drove a couple of nails into the end of it. Because you just don't know. You saw everybody rushing to buy guns and ammo. You just don't know. At least you want a bat.
What do you think you're going to use a bat with nails sticking out of it for?
People might attack you for your PPP.
I suppose.
When they hear that you have a lifetime supply of toilet paper, you can imagine they'll be bringing out the big guns to take you down.
I suppose. I mean, fortunately for us, neither of us have ever had to use it.
Speak for yourself.
Wait a minute. What? You've had to use yours already?
Yep.
Tell us what happened. That seems like a story.
Okay. Well, it was very unnerving. This guy pulls up in front of the house in a white van. He's slow. I see him slow down right by the mailbox. And then he's sitting in this white van outside my mailbox. I'm like, what's up with this guy? And so I go down there, and then it occurs to me he's come all the way from England because the steering wheel is on the other side of the car.
Right.
And then I see him open my mailbox.
Oh, gosh.
And he's starting to stuff it with what I assume are explosives.
Yeah, you're thinking British Secret Service.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And so I know he's on the right side of the car reaching in. So I come around the left side of his white van and just kind of climbing the side. He left the sides open, and he just, as he turns around, I just whack, 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 whack. I take him down.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, I'm like, okay, he's gone. I need to bury the evidence because the British Secret Service will obviously be coming back. So I take his white van and I drive it down my driveway and I ditch it in the woods. And it's filled with just tons of mail that he stole from people.
Really?
Yeah.
What are they up to?
I have no idea. He stole all my neighbor's mail. I'm looking through the addresses, and it's like all the mail from the neighborhood has been stolen by this son of a bitch.
Oh my gosh! Call Crime Stoppers. You're probably due for a reward.
I thought about it, but then I thought, maybe they'll come after me. Who knows? I don't want to. He came here all the way from Britain. Something's going on.
That sort of is always the way where it's like the innocent person who stops the bad guy, and then they pick up the bad guy's gun or his stolen diamond, and the police are like, "Hey, you stole that diamond."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I took the van. I spray painted stuff on the outside to make it look like an ice cream van.
Was there anything else on the white van? I guess it was unmarked, huh?
No, it had, it was under disguise, or so they had an eagle on it or something.
Oh, weird.
Yep. And then, of course, I go back to the mailbox and I'm all freaked out because I have no idea what's been stuffed in there.
Of course.
And if it's a booby trap, but of course I can't leave it. So I created this very elaborate thing where I took a chain and I wrapped it around a tree across the street. And then I hooked up one end to the mailbox's handle.
Okay.
So that I could, standing away, I can pull it. And it would, pull the mailbox open. And if there's a gun in there or something, it's going to shoot out. So I have that all set up. and a freaking motorcycle guy goes by, takes him out.
Oh no! So like clotheslines him right off his bike?
Clotheslined him off his bike, and he's half decapitated. So I'm just like, oh my God. And then, so I have to deal with that. I have to deal with that. And then I go back, I open up the mailbox. Nothing happens.
What that bastard put in there? What?
I don't know what his game was, but it was another solicitation from Spectrum Television to see if I wanted to sign up for faster internet.
Are they in on this?
I don't know. I have to assume. I got to listen to InfoWars.
Gosh, what sort of sick plot are we in the middle of?
I have no idea.
I'm so glad. It's so important to be prepared during a pandemic.
Yep.
This is what happened just to put a bow on the motorcyclist. What happened? Were you able to get him to a hospital, or what happened to that guy?
Oh, right. You're right. Oh my God. I yanked him off to the side, pulled him into the woods and covered him up with leaves and said, I'll be back. And then here I am chatting with you.
Oh gosh.
So I'll check that out afterwards, I guess.
Oh man. Yeah, you should definitely, if you've lost your place in the woods, it's just look under the pile of crows.
Okay. That's a good signal.
That's your pandemic preparedness pack, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Really good work, Ryan.
Thank you, Jack.
No, you're so welcome. I've just got another one I wanted to ask about real quickly. You're a magic 9 ball.
Magic 9 ball. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we all know what a magic 8 ball is. It's one of the most iconic toys in, maybe history. What's a magic 9 ball?
So I had this idea during quarantine, of course. We have a lot of chipmunks running about the property. So I created like a small concentration camp for chipmunks to show the kids how to build. I wanted to teach them how to use the power tools and things. We've constructed a whole little camp for the chipmunks. And what got me thinking about Nazis. And then I thought, what about, if you had like a ball that you could shake that gave you answers?
Yeah.
And maybe it's ja, or maybe it's nine, or maybe the Jews did it. And so we have this thing and you just shake it and it's magic 9 ball, because more often than not, 9 comes up. Mm-hmm. Should I take the kids to the opera? 9. And so, okay, not going to take them to the opera.
Okay.
Why did my car battery die yesterday? Shake, 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 shake. The Jews did it. Should we do barbecue for dinner? Shake, shake, shake. Yeah. So it's basically a German version of Magic 8 Ball, but with some anti-Semitism tossed in for good measure.
Yeah. Wow. That's, it would make me angry at the Jews because my car, I need to go to the grocery store to get something for my kids to eat. And it's the Jews' fault that they're not eating. It makes me angry at the Jews.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's something we'd have to tune into InfoWars to learn more about.
I think, by the way, our partnership with InfoWars for you to seamlessly drop them in is going smoothly. I don't think any of our listeners, make sure you cut this part out. I think none of our listeners are going to pick up on it at all. So great work. Clever
product placement, if I might say so myself.
It's really smartly done. It's just the subtlety of it is just beyond reproach.
Why, thank you.
Can I just ask you one final invention that we can move on?
InfoWars, of course.
Great. I wanted to ask you about pants for ladies.
Yep.
It seems like to an outsider, non-inventor like myself, that ladies have pants nowadays. And I'm not going to, get into the political war over that. But what is pants for ladies?
I was going through my wife's closet and I noticed none of her pants had flies.
Okay, sure.
And I thought that was very strange that they didn't have flies, because men have flies. And, we're talking about equality all the time. And I thought it was quite unfair. So I developed pants for ladies. And all I did was take the fly and just move it down like 4 or 5 inches. And so, the woman can go to the bathroom without having to take her pants down.
Oh, gosh, that seems like with the different equipment that men and women have, that seems like it's might not work as well.
So the zipper starts, and it kind of goes all the way towards the back. Mm-hmm. It's like a 6 or 7 inch zipper.
Okay.
But then, it opens up, and then the lady can do her business. She doesn't have to take her pants off. You just unzip what I call, instead of fly, I call it a vajipper.
Okay. That's patentable, I guess.
I did. I have vajipper.com, and I patented vajipper. I also have vajipper.edu, because you never know.
You never know. Sometimes ideas are so big that, you open up a trade school, whatever it is.
Yeah. So the woman sits down, opens the vajipper, does her business, zips up the vajipper.
But I mean, is it that big a deal to take down your pants? And because you still have to sit to pee, right?
Yeah, that's funny. That's my little tagline in the back of the pants.
There's a tagline in the back of the pants?
Because like Lucky jeans used to have Lucky on the inside of the fly.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So now it says you still have to sit down to pee.
Are there any liability concerns with this?
There have been a couple I've had done in beta testing that have come up. Well, one is catching, is the technical term we use, which is highly unpleasant.
It sounds unpleasant.
And then I hadn't thought about this, but a lot of women wear panties.
Why hadn't you thought of that?
Because I'm not a woman. And as you know, I like to go commando.
I know.
So I really hadn't thought about that, but that's why I'm developing a line of underwear.
Oh. Well, tell us about your line of underwear.
Well, it just matches up with the vajipper so that we don't have any more incidents in beta testing.
Mm-hmm. How would that even work like on thong underwear? It seems like there's so little space there anyway.
Well, that was another thing. I had an idea to put a tiny little hook inside the jeans, the pants, that you can kind of stretch your thong over to and hook that on as you're going about your business.
Gosh.
And then you release the thong and it goes back.
How'd that go in beta testing?
Well, we're calling it elasticity damage. So a lot of times the thong was too tightly wound and came flying back.
Oh, gosh.
And gave the clitoris a little spanking. That was questionable material. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast. Make sure to review the podcast. Make sure to visit qmpodcast.com for episodes, show notes, and bonus material.